Hey, Brave Soul! Welcome back to the Brave Mo Studios podcast, where we style well, live well, and be brave. I am so excited for today's episode because we get the chance to talk to my favorite editorial makeup artist of all time, y'all. I'm not exaggerating. She's also the creator and CEO of the illustrious Tai Light beauty brand. Her fairytale glow pigments and dream lashes have graced the pages of Vogue, Glamour, 13 Lune, and many, many more. Her products are not only fun to wear, but they also promote healthy, alluring skin with jojoba oils and all kinds of nourishing products for your skin. She is about to enlighten us on how to build a successful career in the beauty industry and pave a lane for yourself while opening the gate for those behind you. Brave souls, please get ready to hear from Miss Tai Ceme. Can you give our audience a little rundown on just where you started, where you're from, all the things?
Okay, so I've been living in New York for almost like 8 years. Oh my God, 8 years. It's been a long time. I originally moved here to go to fashion school, so I went to FIT. And through that, I kind of fell into, I was just exploring all different sides of like the fashion industry. I couldn't quite figure out which one I wanted, like what things I wanted to do. So I tried styling. I was working at a photo studio for a while. And then I think I was styling. Yes, I was assisting a stylist. And she had a bunch of models there, and I was telling them how I wanted to get into styling as well. And one of the models was like, okay, you should style like my next lookbook. And I was like, okay, cool. So I was doing that. And then I was looking for makeup artists to, jump in on it with me, but I didn't know any. I just really didn't have a network in the community yet. So I was like, I had asked somebody, they couldn't do it. So I ended up having to do it myself. And I've been doing makeup ever since. So that's kind of how I started my makeup journey. Yeah.
That's awesome. Look, I can't find it, so I'm gonna make it happen. But
yeah,
I mean, it's amazing.
I had always played around with it, on myself, and on some friends for fun, but it was never something that I had mastered or really sat down to really think about. So it was the first time, and it was on set, and I just liked it. It was just fun. And I just was like, I think I'm going to do this.
That's great. I mean, it's amazing how God puts you in positions where,
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was definitely God.
That's awesome. Yeah. Cause you think you're lacking something, but it really is a seed, clearly, especially in your case.
No, absolutely.
That's amazing. So I did not realize that you started out styling at first. I don't think I ever.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I was just cause of course I went to fashion school, and I've always been a fashion kid. That's what I was drawn to growing up. That's the way that I expressed myself the most was through clothes and just dressing up for school. Yeah. So I was like, maybe I like styling, and it was cool, but it was I don't know. I guess for me, it was just different from doing it on myself. Mm-hmm. It's a whole different thing. It's not as simple as people may think. You have to really
it is
put some study into it.
Very true. It's a skill. It's a real skill.
Yeah, it's a skill.
I feel the same way as a stylist, I definitely know that to be true. It is very different styling another person. And then it's even different if, styling a model versus a everyday person, being able to, know how to toggle between those hats, change out those hats and understand, fabrications and how things drape on the body and how things really fit realistically. That's art of styling. But I also feel that way about makeup artistry because it's truly an art.
Yes, it really is. It really is. It really is
truly art. So now, whenever you first started, getting into doing makeup after that first shoot, what was the very next thing? I mean, did you know right then in that first shoot, oh wait, I like this more than styling? Is that what happened?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So then logistically, what was your next step after that?
So after that, I just started these are great questions, by the way. But after that, I really just started telling people that I did have in my network that I wanted to try makeup. I was just telling everyone, I'm I want to try makeup. And I just started doing my makeup more and just actually putting makeup more of a thought than like my clothing, you know, and like figuring out different ways to express myself through that. And then I kind of had to like backtrack because I didn't know the basics. Like I had a very like, you know, just natural talent with it because I did myself.
Right.
And a lot of the women that I was working with were Black women. So it was just like second nature to really know how to like work with their skin. I've always been really into skincare. So, but I kind of had to like learn the basics so I can learn how to do everybody and everything and just different, you know what I mean? Different features, different skin types. It's all different, you know, and there's different ways you have to be able to know how to like look at someone's skin, assess it and figure out what's best for them and what's gonna, you know, not everything is gonna look the same on everybody.
So was it trial and error for you?
Yes, it was it was a lot of trial and error. Everything I did in terms of like editorial wise, everything I did was for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Editorial wise. Yeah. In terms of the basics, I definitely started getting like small jobs and doing like bridal makeup, doing like bachelorette, that type of things, just doing like a lot of makeup very quickly. I was working with this one company. I was working with Birchbox and I would like have like 30 minutes to like do a full face and or do like 15 minutes of hair, then 15 minutes of makeup. So it was like makeup boot camp. Like,
oh, wow. Yeah, that is makeup boot camp.
It was crazy.
You don't want me to do your makeup in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, and then, you know, they would like break it down. Like you have to do just like eyes and complexion. But if you're doing someone's makeup, you kind of have to do the whole thing or it doesn't make sense. In my head, I'm like, it doesn't make sense if I'm not doing the whole thing. So I'd still try to like do the whole thing in the 15 minutes or like a little bit of everything. Yeah. Because I'm like, you have to have a complete look. But so that was like, I did a lot of jobs like that where it was like, you have to do makeup very quickly and you have to do a lot of people a day. And that was like where I learned the basics. But in terms of editorial, everything was like for the first time.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's fascinating. And I think the trial and being able to learn from trial and error, especially as an artist, as a creative, honestly, to me, it's kind of the best way to learn your art because school helps. Like you need knowledge. You need like one, like you need the studies, but then like as an artist, you have to do it. Like you have to just practice, start where you are. Like I tell a lot of people who are interested in getting into fashion, regardless of, you know, whether they're coming out of school or whether they're changing careers or something, like just start wherever you are.
Exactly.
Test things out, like play around, you know, collaborate with friends, you know, and like you were able to do, like, it's okay if you don't have all the crew members that you feel like you might need. You might be able to like step up and take on.
Exactly. Why not?
Why not? And hey, you might become
you might surprise yourself.
Exactly. So, what is there anything that you would tell, or is there anything that you would have done differently? Like looking back, how many years has it been now since you started doing makeup?
It's been like 5 years.
Oh wow. Okay. So you've been moving now pretty consistently for a good while. Seems like you've been doing makeup much longer, at least double that.
Yeah, it feels like that. It feels like that, but I'm 25. Yeah. And I started when I was 20.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, okay. So then, you know, from there, when it comes to, you know, being a makeup artist and really being respected in the industry and getting work, what was that transition like, you know, from just being in the trial and error phase and actually, you know, like saying, this is my career? How did that transition happen?
So for me, it really just kind of like happened. Like, you know, God is really like, in my life personally, God kind of just sets me up for things. Like I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I just started working with the right people. Like, you know, I didn't actually really like, I thought I was just collaborating with friends, you know, and I didn't realize like I was really able to work with really great artists from the beginning. And that's what kind of like set me up to be in the like right places and to be able to showcase my work the way I have, you know, just like I've always kind of worked with the right people.
Yeah. So like that was people in your
and also to like working with, I was also blessed to work with artists that let me kind of express myself any way that I wanted to. So when you get that type of freedom, you're really able to like kind of like just push the boundaries, really like show yourself what you can do. And it's just better, you know, because I don't really have any like strict restrictions, because you can have a whole mood board, right? And have a whole look put together. And depending on who's casting or who's actually in charge of picking the model, the look may not make sense for that model.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then what do you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like the look. So it's like, you can only plan to a certain extent when you're doing like editorial work, in my eyes. So I was able to like really work with people who let me kind of like just go off. And then that mixed with the type of artist they were and the different platforms kind of like put me into this is my career now.
That's awesome. So whenever like early on, what this work that you were doing were these test shoots? Were these actually paid gigs? You know, what was it?
I did test a lot in the beginning. I did test a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think every artist goes to that period when they test shoot a lot. And the things that I was doing to kind of like sustain myself was like the 30-second makeup job. You got like 30 minutes hair, face, lip, you know, those are the jobs that like paid more at the time. So I would do those jobs, and then I would do a lot of test shoots on the side to just be able to do editorial and kind of just do whatever I want.
Okay. So yeah, you were working full time.
Yeah.
And at places where you were able to do makeup, even if it wasn't like your style of makeup or
exactly
what you wanted to do, it was still something that was giving you practice, like you said, boot camp.
Absolutely. And like bridal.
So you're doing test shoots like on the weekend or something, or like after work?
Yeah, on the weekends. Yeah, I would do it on the weekends. And then different periods throughout my career, things have changed. Like sometimes like I'll get a job for like 3 months at like a studio or something. Like there was different points in my life where I was working. There was one time I was working at this like makeup studio, which it was essentially the same thing. But instead of people just getting their makeup done to go to a party, they were getting their makeup done to get a photo shoot done for them. So there's like those jobs you can get too, and those kind of like pay more consistently. So I would do that in between doing my test shoots.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So that was kind of keeping you afloat. So speaking of being, you know, keeping afloat and maintaining the float, you're living in New York City.
Yes.
Where
still
you can't get out of there. But
I'm trying to leave.
New York is a way of sucking you in. And
the trap.
It's interesting because it's one of those places where, I mean, you love it and you hate it at the same time.
Yeah.
At all times. Like I'm
always loving and hating it at the same time.
Yes.
That's a great,
It's true. Like it's just somehow it's the only place on the planet I feel like can generate that type of feeling within you. But, you know, working and freelancing, what is that life really like in New York? Like,
it's crazy.
Do you suggest it for just people try it out?
I think you have to really build like a tough skin, because it's really intense, because that freelance lifestyle, especially in a city like New York City, it kind of tests you in all different ways. It's not just testing you financially, it tests you mentally, it tests you emotionally, spiritually. So it's a lot of testing going on when you're taking that route, but it's the route with the most freedom. So it depends on, you know, it depends on if that's what you want. Like, you know, if you really want to just really do something on your own and be completely in charge of your own every penny that you make. If you're free, you know, if that's something that you really want to do, then yes. But if stability, if stability is something that you acquire at all times in life, it might be a little more tough.
So, you know, that's something that, especially if you were, say right now, we have a listener who is transitioning careers. So this is a person, like, they're not 20 years old. You know, maybe they're 30, maybe they're 35. You know, maybe they're 45. They're transitioning from a career they've had for 10, 15, 20 years. But they know in their heart they want to be a makeup artist, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's a hard question, but what's something that you may suggest to someone who's trying to transition and possibly requires that stability?
I would suggest that they save money. They have money saved. If they really require that stability, They need to just have money saved, so maybe, that would be actually great. When you're starting out later in life, you actually have something, when you're starting, when you're 20, you're saving $10.
Right.
So hopefully they have like a savings or like, you know what I mean? Or, but if you don't have, if money is not something that you have, I always recommend like grants, applying for grants, applying for, there's a ton of different things out there that are, and people and companies are looking to fund, artists and small businesses and different things like that. So, and also I believe that just like putting that out there, I don't like saying energy because I feel like people use it too much these days, but putting that energy out there, you'll actually, something will come. Like, if you're really working at like, I want to get this grant, I want to get funding, but also too, if you're later on in life, hopefully you have like a savings, and just as long as you always have money just in case, you'll be fine. You should definitely do it. They
can, and I suggest too, like, I didn't start styling until I was 24, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about 24. And I went into the corporate world, corporate retail.
Yeah.
And because I thought that was the kind of the safe route. Now at 24, I still didn't have much of a savings, but
well, yeah, no,
but also, I was going through all kinds of different trials. But I, that stage though, still, I wasn't necessarily like fresh out of school though, and I was kind of, I was working a full-time corporate job as an account manager for a men's pant company. And I would get off of work at like 5:30 or 5, and I would race to the mall before they closed at 9. And I would like pull clothes at Zara, and then I would do my test shoot Saturday morning. Yes. Yep, that was my life.
That. You were always working when we were at the apartment. You always were. Yeah, that's just definitely work both jobs.
I was working because it's New York. And you just don't have a job. Like
you have to have six.
Side note, everyone, Tai and I met because we were roommates. We were roommates in Brooklyn. And what year was that? 2017?
Was it?
Yeah, it was 2017, fall 2017. We were roommates, and that's how we met. And we had a crazy, scary roommate. We had a scary third roommate. It helped us cling to one another.
It was crazy.
It was crazy, but regardless, we
pushed through.
We pushed through. But when you have to go through things together, it makes you really close. It makes you tight.
Exactly.
But yeah,
like we'll always have that.
We'll always have that bond. Regardless how it started, huh?
No, I was just agreeing.
Yeah. Regardless of how it started, I'm grateful for it nonetheless.
Yes, no, exactly. Every time I'm talking about you to one of my friends, they're like, Jessica pops up all the time. I'm like, I know. They're like, this is the same Jessica that you lived with. I'm like, yes.
I tell people that too. Like,
I love it.
Yes, I'm glad. And it was so great because when we met, I was really starting to gain some traction work-wise.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
I really looked up to you. I was like, oh my God, she's doing everything. I was like, oh my God. I was still going on Craigslist looking for jobs.
Hey, look, I admired you though, because you were so talented, and I was like, I can't believe my roommate. I've been able to roommate with someone who's so talented, and so we got to collaborate on some test shoots together.
Yeah, we did a lot of shoots.
Yes, and those are still some of my favorites.
I know,
working with Carl Chisholm. Shout out to
Carl Chisholm. That's so
shout out
funny.
To Carl. Carl is one of definitely one of my favorite photographers. But yeah, I enjoyed that season. I think, New York, it does test you.
It does.
And, I would say to people maybe who are wondering, do you have to live in New York to be a successful makeup artist? Do you think that's true?
Absolutely not.
Okay, good.
I do not think it's true. I'm trying to transition out of New York as well, and live in different just be in different places. You know, I don't really know where I want to really settle yet, but I just want to like see different places. So I don't think you need to be in New York to be successful. I think you just have to implement like that as part of your life. Like, you know, like figuring out the different places and different areas that you do make money, and just like making sure that you're always available to go to that area, and you're setting, you know, your rates at the right price. So that way, like it makes sense for you to come back. You know what I mean? It makes sense for you to travel to New York for a job if you're getting paid the right amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. So let's talk about rates, because that's something setting your rate is another art form.
So hard. And also there's like no handbook for these things. And like, handbook. You know, people are not so like people don't actually just like tell other people this information. Like rates are always a secret. No one's like actively talking about it and teaching others about them and understanding how to do it. So you kind of just have to like, I mean, I know for me, I just learned as I went. I had no idea. No one taught me anything about rates.
Let's try to end that a little bit right now. Okay.
Yes.
If you don't mind. I'm not going to ask you what your rate is, but how did you, let's say, you know, when you first started giving a rate out, what was that like? How did you decide, like, what were you calculating, you know, certain, like your travel time? How did you come up with your rate for the very first time?
So I started off doing like a kit fee. So the first thing I started doing was like charging people for my kit, even if it was like a test shoot. That's like the first thing I started doing. And then I started off, I honestly really just would figure out what other people are making. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, what do other people make for this for this portion of the project? Like, what does this person make? What does this person make? And like figuring out like what would make sense for a makeup artist. I also, I still do that now though. I feel like I'm like, what are the agency makeup artists making? Like, what do they make? I look at their rates and kind of like
that. How'd you find that information?
I Google that. Also ask people on set. Okay. Like definitely just like ask, you know, if agents or whoever, like, you know, you never know who you can talk to. I talk a lot on set. That's like where you get the most information. You got to just like really talk to people, and being personable helps. Like, you know, being someone that likes to talk helps, because then you just have better conversations. And I just ask people. So I just asking asking people in the community, like, or just being like, producers are a great way to figure out, because producers' jobs are to hire, you know, the crew. So they know what on average, what do people make? Like, you know, so I would, I have a couple producer friends, and I would ask them like, on average, when you're booking, what does the makeup artist make? And I kind of would go off of that.
You went from there and was like, okay, well, you know, even if that was, you know, was it sometimes a higher rate? Like, okay, that's a more experienced makeup artist.
Yes, no, definitely. That's how I would do it. I mean, definitely a couple years ago, I was like, okay, so if the agency makeup artists are making 1,000, like, you know, they're making 1,000, with my expertise, what should I be? And plus also too, it has to do with how much money you need. So sometimes you kind of have to like, if you really need money, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to take the 250. I'm going to take it. Like, you know, it depends on where you are at. Also in your day-to-day affairs, I should say. So I kind of based it on that as well. It was a lot of different things. Now that I have like my assistant, and now that I kind of know more, I kind of just tell them, like, you know what I mean? I'm just like, okay, so you're just starting out. I also factor in the type of products that I use in my array as well, because I'm using all clean products. That's a big deal, you know, especially now when people want more skincare based options. And of course, because I have my brand too. But it depends on like what type of materials you have. Like, you can't overcharge if you don't have the materials to match. You know, you have to, and also the skill set. So, you know, if you're first starting off, and also the market as well, what are people, because sometimes people will just ask you straight up, like, will you do this for $100? You know, so people will tell you what they're expecting as well. Then you kind of decide if you want that. I don't recommend anyone doing anything for $100, but
especially not in New York. Like,
not in New York, because $100 is 5 cents. So
it is.
You're going to spend $100 just to go there. I feel like transportation should always be factored in. Like, always, if you're going to spend $25 in Uber there and $25 in Uber back, that's an extra $50. It has to be worth it for you. I don't recommend anything like, so yeah, all of those things are a factor. Mentorship is really important in these types of industries. I feel like you have to, looking for someone that you can learn from is really important, because also everyone has a different experience. Like you can get another makeup artist and they can tell you a completely different way of like the way they got to where they're at. I did a lot of trial and error, me trying things. I'm like, why would I? And then I would get there and I'm like, why would I do this for $150?
Yeah. So
that makes no sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't make, well, it literally makes just sense. Like,
literally, it makes actual sense. And then sometimes you get excited as an artist, like, oh my God, I would love to paint butterflies on your face all day. And then you get there and you're like, this is 20 people.
Are you a fashion stylist who has just booked one of your first paying clients, but you're not really sure where to go from here? Or has someone inquired about your rates, but you're trying to figure out what you should charge? Well, Brave Mode Studios has you covered with our virtual fashion mentorship sessions. We've even created a particular session entitled, I booked my first paying client, now what? And just for being such a loyal podcast listener, you get to get 50% off your first mentorship session, and that's any session, with the promo code podcast-be brave. So head on over to bravemode.com right now while you're listening to this episode and book your first session right now. I can't wait to talk to you. Okay, back to the episode. Y'all pay me $150 for 20 people. That's literally like, you break that down into a few dollars per person, basically.
Literally. And they will try to play you here. So you got to keep never get too excited. Always think something over. Yeah. I definitely would go back and change that, not getting, because there's a lot of like smoke and mirrors in New York, and everything. A lot of things are about the artist or something, some reason to get you to not feel like you need to be paid. Like, well, you don't need to be paid because it's this designer's show. I'm like, and why does that make sense?
It doesn't. Like, I've been bamboozled that way.
Should get paid because they got money.
Exactly. That's more reason why I should be getting paid, actually.
Should be getting paid. Yes. So New York is backwards in that way. It's like the bigger the name, the smaller you get paid. Because
they think, it's a privilege for you to even be here.
Exactly. That's exactly how they do that. And don't let them do that to you.
That's a great word right there.
Don't do that.
That's such a great word.
It's never worth it. And also too, like, it's just, once you start doing those types of jobs, you realize it's not even worth it. It's not worth it.
I love that.
You're not getting to enjoy. You might as well just, if you want to go to the show, like, or get paid to work the show, of course.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't advise like not getting paid. Definitely, they say to do it because of experience, but you only need experience a couple times. You don't need to do it for a year and a half.
And you're working for free for so many different things.
One time, yes, for experience, definitely do it once, but don't make your career.
Yes, because people will also get used to you not charging.
Absolutely. That's how it is here. Everyone expects you to do things for free. Like in the beginning of my career, I literally got into so many like heavy conversations with people that I thought like really appreciated my work, not understanding why I didn't want to do something for free. They'd be like, yeah, come to Virginia and do this shoot. And I'm like, they're like, yeah, you got to pay for everything and do the shoot for free. I'm like,
what?
Why would I do that?
Wait, hold on. Back up just a quick second. Someone asked you.
Yes.
To come to Virginia.
Yes.
From New York.
Yes. And work for free. And they weren't even paying my transportation there.
I'm so confused. I've just never heard that in my life. Like, that's so bold. It's so bold. It's so bold to just be like, yeah, just travel several states.
Not down the street.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I mean, it's one thing to ask me to go to, like, I don't know, Queens from,
exactly.
But to ask me to, anyway, moving on.
But also too, I'm like, what's great about, and if you do want to like collaborate and stuff, collaborate with like all my friends are really talented. So I'm like, if I'm going to collaborate, I'm going to collaborate with them.
Yeah. And people you get working with.
Exactly. So why would I take this job? And that's the thing too, like the word collaboration. It's not a collaboration if you're just sending me a mood board and you're telling me exactly what you want me to do.
Yeah, that's not, you need to, like you said earlier, having that you were collaborating with people who actually gave you the creative freedom to just go off and like, you know, and
they made you a part of the project. You are also, you're not just working for their vision. They made you a part of the project. You're doing this together.
Yes. Yes. And that's a requirement for me for anything I'm doing, especially as a creative person. It's very stifling to be in an environment where your creativity is not appreciated nor really wanted. You're just really an extra set of hands to do something, execute something, and there's no autonomy. As a creative, you need that autonomy.
Absolutely. And people start treating you like it's like a service industry, like you're just there to service them. Like I've been really experiencing that, and now that I have someone that I'm training, like I feel really like I'm like really paying attention more, and I'm like, you don't want to fall into like a service business. Like, you know what I mean? Like people are asking makeup to wipe noses. I'm like, what?
Wait a minute. Like someone's ruddy nose?
Yes. They'll be like glam. Like, yo, I'll be on sets all the time. They're like called glam. They're like glam. I'm like, who? And I'm just chilling. And they're like, Tai. I'm like, what? I didn't hear my name. They're like, glam. Her nose on set. Funny.
Yes. When you're on set and you get, mine is, you know, wardrobe, you know, so it's wardrobe.
Yes.
Wardrobe. Like I'm
nameless. Just nameless.
Okay. I'm just, that's me. And then I've almost one time I tried to say like, I was like, it's Jessica, like, you know, and they're like, okay, wardrobe.
Like, yes. Okay, I'm like, yo, y'all are crazy.
Y'all don't even care. Y'all don't even care. So
like her nose is running. I'm like, the back is over there.
Let her go blow her nose and I can touch up the makeup after.
And I can touch up her makeup after. Like, so I'm like, I also don't like that either.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's something I'm trying to stay away from.
Sometimes people, they'll perceive that as arrogance.
Yeah.
Instead of you just being, you're respecting me as a professional.
Well, yeah. Well, that's when you fall into, that's the thing about New York. New York has a certain level of desperation too, because you're always like needing work. You're always constantly needing work to keep up with the expenses here. So you're just taking anything that pays well. And it really depends on the job that you're working. But a lot of creators don't have the freedom to just say no to things. Like, you know, you're like, well, I actually really need that rate. Yeah. So I need to do it. But those types of jobs, that's how they are. They don't see makeup. They don't see you as like an artist. They're just like, you know what I mean? You're just the makeup person there to make sure no one's sweating and lotion knees and blow noses. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get it, because that's the type of job this is. But I don't want these types of jobs. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to put that out there and like figure out how God wants me to transition out of that phase where I don't have to work those types of jobs no matter what the rate is. Because I'm like, that's not the type. I want to work with people who understand my artistry and want to like work with me. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm like, look at my portfolio.
Yes. Like I'm worth hiring.
Hello. Come on.
I'm worth hiring. And it's like, you know, it is difficult. I mean, like sometimes you may be working with a company that maybe doesn't have much of a budget. Right. And it can be difficult. And sometimes I just kind of gauge those situations. Like, okay, is this a legit situation or are they just trying to get over it?
Yeah, it feels different. You'll know the difference.
Yes. Yeah. Some companies or brands or whatever are just really either young or, you know, or cash poor.
They're just small brands. Yeah. And
really
they'll tell
small.
you.
And they'll tell you like, and you'll
tell you.
You're right. And it's good when you have someone transparent with you. If they're transparent with you about what they have going on, then, you know, then you can better, you know, okay, that they're being genuine. They just really just don't have
it. Exactly.
When it comes to, you know, assisting, I know you said that you're mentoring someone right now. Was there anyone who, you know, kind of put you on or that you linked up with or that was mentoring you for a while?
So I never had a mentor.
Oh,
so sad. I've always wanted a mentor. I really always wanted a mentor with makeup. I really did, but I never got one. I did assist for a little bit in the beginning, and they were horrible. They were horrible. They were, you know, definitely signed to really great agencies, definitely getting the greatest jobs, you know, like the best jobs in the industry, but they were horrible. They were not nice people. So and then remember the girl who lived in your room before you was a makeup artist. Remember that girl? And she was like,
her?
Huh?
You assisted her?
No, I didn't assist her. I was just going to tell you a story. And she was there. I was telling them, one day we were all talking and I was telling them how frustrated I was with like the people that I was assisting. I'm like, they're so mean to me. They tell me I can't talk. They tell me I have to you're not allowed to talk. You're not allowed to do all these things, but no one tells you. You're just supposed to know.
Yeah. Apparently you're just supposed to come on and because and there's some environments where you open your mouth and they're looking at you like,
they're like, you're not supposed to speak. You're supposed to be invisible. Literally. They'll say those words. Yeah. And like, and like, obviously that doesn't work with my personality. So the lady that I was assisting would get mad that people would talk to me. And, you know, and also too, that I'm Black. So all the Black models wanted me to do their makeup and she would get mad. And it was just, it was a hot mess. And she was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. But I was telling them that story, and the girl who used to live in your room, remember when she told you that I just worked in retail?
Yes. I was going to mention that. I was like, no, I'm not going to say it. Yes. Because she said that. I was like, wait, when I came there, I came to find out like, wait, you know, you're really a makeup artist. Huh? Yes. Sorry, we're excited. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying that was crazy. Like when you told me that, I was like, that's crazy that she said that.
Yeah, I was like, why is she telling me? Because she just was like, oh, and the other girl is just, she's just subletting, and she's just, you know, she just works in retail, like does makeup at retail or whatever. And I was like, and then I came to find out like, no, like you were, and I came to find out she was, I guess, an aspiring makeup artist.
Well, she was a makeup artist as well. And so when I was telling that story of the lady that I was assisting, she came in, she was like, well, you're not supposed to talk and you're supposed to be invisible. I was like, I was like, oh, okay. Like,
didn't know that.
Like, that's your job. Like, I was like, oh.
That's what she told you?
Yes. I was like.
See, okay. This, you know, I'm actually glad you brought that up too, because it's the same with wardrobe too when it comes to styling. Like they aren't different at all. The medium is just the art itself is different, but everything else around it is completely the same. I've been in environments where, you know, me opening my mouth and not even like in a rude way. I'm just me being friendly with
talking.
Talent. Like if I'm changing the talent's clothes, like
how are we not supposed to speak?
Right. I'm probably going to say something to them. And I remember working on one job, and you know, the guy that I was dressing him and, you know, changing his clothes, and he happened to be from Greensboro. Well, I'm from Charlotte. He went to school in Greensboro. My college is also in Greensboro. Wow. And so we had a little thing in common. Like he initiated that conversation really, and he volunteered that information about where he was from. He just asked me where he was from. We got in a conversation, and after that, we exchanged Instagrams. You know, like after the shoot was over. So I mean,
I got in trouble for that too.
See, yes, and that
I got in trouble for that.
It was almost like I think the person I was working with didn't want to, like I don't know how to describe this, but like she came to me basically and was just kind of like, you're really, you know, really social with everyone, and it's like, why is that a problem? And in my mind, I'm like, first of all, I came to New York to meet people, to be social. I came to New York.
Well, that's the thing. They just want you to be their assistant. Like they don't want to teach you. They're not trying to
in the way that like you're saying, like
exactly. They don't want you to mentor you. They don't want you to steal jobs. I'm like, how am I going to steal jobs? I don't even have a portfolio. I'm trying to.
You're a threat by talking. You're a threat by talking.
Literally a threat. Like literally, if someone complimented my skin, she would say something, like anything. Gosh. She was just a hater. They're haters.
I was just about to say that. She's just a hater.
They're just haters. Because I'm like, with my assistant, I'm like, no, the whole point is for you to network. What would be the point of you doing all of this?
Exactly.
And getting to be in all these places if you weren't able to learn and network and meet people?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think some people, when they're leaving,
you have to.
They're thinking like, okay, well, this is how I was treated. This is how I came into it. They kind of want to be a gatekeeper,
exactly.
You know, individual gatekeeper for whoever's assisting them. And it's, you know, I think if less people try to be try less to be gatekeepers, but actually really open the gate for people.
Exactly. Oh, that was beautiful. Open
you know what? That just came to me. I didn't even rehearse that. Like that just came right on through.
That was just from God.
That was just from God. He just dropped that right in there. I didn't even think about it as I was saying it. I might have to write that down.
Okay.
But that's the mindset. That's the mindset I have. It's just like when I'm,
no, it's true. Yeah.
It's hard to, because then the person's operating out of insecurity. They're operating
absolutely
out of, having a lack of hope for their own career.
Exactly. And it's crazy to think how many people are like that, especially the ones where you're like, well, you're making all of this money. You're like, you know what I mean? You're doing all of the things, like, you're getting the jobs. It's consistent. You have an agency. So it's crazy to see them act that way. Cause I'm like, I thought you had it all.
And you know what, though, that just goes to show you that a lot of times they don't.
Yeah. I'm like, well, that's what I learned. I'm like, I guess not. I thought I would be so happy. I wouldn't even be stressing.
Right. You would think, right? I mean, that's some people, they may feel like, man, maybe they, truly did work really, really hard to get where they are. But then they feel like, maybe they resent how hard they had to work though. And they feel like they need to make it
instead of enjoying the fact that they're past that phase.
Yes, exactly. So, as a person now who is able to, to now have an assistant, you already kind of mentioned a little bit of this, how you treat your assistant more like you're more of a mentor to them, and you want to make sure you're networking. How did you go about finding your assistant? So for our more established makeup artists who now need that assistant, how did you go about finding the right assistant for you?
So, I was looking for assistants. I had made this whole job post on Indeed. And I had gone through a series of interviews. I found this girl that I liked, and I started working with her. And within like a couple of weeks, it just like wasn't going well, and it wasn't working out. So I was kind of like discouraged. I was like, damn, like I really thought this was like, I had really great hopes, like in high hopes for it to work. So it didn't work out. And then literally a week later, Aaliyah is her name, but Aaliyah DM'd me. She said that she had saw my ad on Indeed, and she was just wondering if I was still looking for an assistant, because it had been like a month or so since I had done the ad. So she just like messaged me on Instagram, and I've been working with her ever since.
That's awesome. How long has it been now?
It's about to be a year.
Oh, wow.
It's about to be a year. Awesome. Yeah, because it was around my birthday, and my birthday's in September next month. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
I'm telling you, when I like do things like this, I realize how much God be blessing me. I'm like, damn, I really should never complain.
You're right. You have a good reflection moment.
Yes, I have because I'm like, really, a lot of these things were just like put in my path purposely. Don't get it wrong though. I'd be going through a lot of, living in New York is crazy. Like there's a lot of ups and downs and all around. And I definitely go through my fair share of like financial, emotional, mental bullshit. But in terms of like the right things happening, they usually just happen at the right time. I usually don't have to like do too much.
Do you feel
because
like
it takes me, I feel like all that energy is saved for my actual crafts, because I think that hard about it. Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, you're consuming yourself, you're immersing yourself in it. Speaking of finances, like now, let's get to your beauty brand. Let's dive into that. Dive into the
love of my life.
Hey Brave Soul, I'm just tapping you on the shoulder real quick to ask if you knew about Brave Mode Studios, the studio. Yeah, this is going to be a multi-purpose photo studio, design lab, learning center, and fellowship space for Black and brown fashion and beauty professionals and students. If you're hearing this in 2021, that means my Brave Boss team and I are working tirelessly on market research, social engagement, applying for grants, and building a bomb pitch deck to present to investors. We are also designing the Brave Mode Studios app that will serve as a digital version of our studio. But we can't do this without you. To support us, head over to bravemode.com while you're listening to this episode and join our growing waitlist. And don't worry, we're not going to bombard you with marketing emails. We just want to show investors that the Brave Soul Tribe has our back and is anticipating the launch. If you're a fashion and beauty professional or student of color, contact us at the email address listed below to join one of our focus groups so we can learn how Brave Mode Studios can best serve you. Okay, that's it for now. Back to your scheduled programming. The love of your life. And it's evident because, girl, like, it is just... I was just looking through your sort, like your inventory today.
No.
I mean, not today, yesterday on your website. And I was familiar for the most part with your highlighters, which are just beautiful. And I need to buy one again because I miss my little jar of gold highlighter. It was it was just like putting on literal liquid gold. Like, and it just felt so good on my skin. It smelled clean. Like,
yes,
and like you said, it's actually healthy for your skin too. Like, it's not just cosmetic. It's actually, you know, truly like skincare in a way.
It's almost like it's almost like simplifying. Sorry, cosmetics. Like, you know what I mean? Just like it's just less stuff. You know, less, and it's a lot of unnecessary stuff are in the products that we use, and just like really, really bad things for your skin. And if you just eliminate all of that, and it's kind of like taking makeup back into being like an art form is what I'm trying to do. And like keeping your skin in mind, because that's the most important thing. Like we all want to age gracefully and take care of ourselves. And I'm like, we have to really keep our skin in mind. Like that's the most important thing.
Yes, I love hearing that type of language. That's my favorite song. Just keep your skin in mind. Like I love that. How I was going to segue from, you know, financing your business, but let's start with the fun stuff first, and then we'll go back. We'll circle back to that.
Financing.
Yeah, because I know it's a touchy one as a business owner, but I definitely want to talk about that because we, you know, entrepreneurship.
It's real. No, people need to know. Yeah.
Yes, entrepreneurship is a thing, and I feel like what you're doing and how you're making this thing pop, girl. Like regardless of whatever struggles, regardless of the hurdles, you are making this thing pop. And so we'll get into that because I want to encourage our entrepreneurs that are listening. But let's talk about the fun stuff. You know, so first of all, what encouraged you to create Tai Light Beauty? And it's Tai Light Beauty, not Tai Light Cosmetics, right? Am I right?
Tai Light Beauty, yeah.
Okay. So what encouraged you to create that? When did it first just spark in your head?
So, the pigments, like so it started off with actually like making the pigments, and then it later transitioned to like becoming a brand. But, the pigments were just something that it was in the beginning of my makeup journey. And I was working a lot with Black models, which was great. But I was like there was certain looks that I was trying to achieve that I couldn't find like the right products for, because I was doing like a bunch of like other jobs on the side where I would get a lot of free makeup. But the free makeup that I was getting was all for people who aren't Black. There weren't products like, you know, you don't get those products like readily available to you. So, and plus like highlighting was like my thing. I'm like, I just loved the whole concept of highlighting. So, I was really looking for highlighters, for like our skin, and I couldn't find those. And during that time also had a lot of personal stuff going on in my life. I was homeless. I was dating this evil man. It was a lot of things going on. And usually
girl, wait, are you talking about who I think you're talking about?
No, just let's not even do it.
Okay. That's another conversation. I just needed to know.
Yes, but just for you to know, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
So, so my way of like dealing with things, or whenever I'm like in a situation where I can't really do anything and I don't see a way out, I just make something. So that's what I was doing. I was just like, okay, cool. I've always wanted this highlighter thing is something that I've been trying to figure out. Like, how do I highlight our skin like that? So, I just like started doing research on how to make one. And because I just needed a little craft, I needed something to get my mind off of all the uncontrollables.
I love that though. Like I love how this was birthed out of a catharsis.
It was a lot. All of my everything is for me. Everything is always,
Because I keep that. I mean, like it's feeding you as well as you're allowing you to express yourself. So it's a catharsis, and it's pouring into you, and you're able to pour out.
Absolutely, I'm like that's just the way the cycle usually goes for me. So I was dealing with that situation. So I was like, okay. I started making these highlighters. I loved it, and it was just like a hobby of mine. I was just making different colors. I would wear them. And then, of course, my friends would be like, what is this? You know, and my friends would just like encourage me. And I would stop. I stopped for a while because that was in 2017. So that was like right before I met you.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Literally right before I met you is when I made my first glow pigment.
Girl, you're kidding me.
Yes. Literally. Yes.
Wow.
And that's so crazy. What a full circle moment. But yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was. And then I remember like not wanting to do, and then that I had assisted that lady and all those things had happened. I remember like not even wanting to do makeup at one point. I'm like, maybe this isn't for me because these people are crazy.
Yeah. You start questioning like where am I going?
I'm like, I don't know about this like environment of like, and like one of the ladies that I assisted would like make me feel really weird about getting paid. Like she would make it a big deal and like wait a long time, and it was always like I'd have to chase her. It was just always awkward around like the paying part. And so I had made my first pigment, and then when I started getting into doing like just editorial makeup again, I kind of was like putting it on the back burner, but I would kind of use it on set sometimes depending on what I was doing. And then, that happened for like a year of me just using it on myself and occasionally using it on set. And then fast forward into 2019. Fast forward to 2019. Now I'm in a better place. I'm living my best life. This was 2019, the beginning was a really good year for me. I was really living large.
Okay. All right.
I don't remember what I was doing, but like my career was in a good place. I was making good money. I just was having a lot of fun in that beginning part of 2019. And then I went through a breakup.
Aww.
Yes. Horrible breakup. I'm like, it's always a breakup. It always starts with some type of so Romeo and Juliet. But so another breakup. And then, but before I was going through the breakup, me and my friend, one of my best friends now, we live together now, but we also met during that year. And she was kind of encouraging me to like start like make highlighter brand and make like the pigments like more than, more than just something I do on myself and selling them. And then a lot of my friends had done that. They're just like, you should really like do something with this. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I kind of like started loosely planning it. Like, it was like a very loose thing. And I kept pushing it back. Like, I was like, I'm going to launch later on. Like, I'm going to launch.
Right.
Yes, I'm going to launch later on. And then the breakup happened. So then I really wanted to do it. So then it just became like my whole focus. It's like, as soon as that all like fell apart and all that, then I had like a friendship breakup too. It was horrible. It was awful.
Friendship breakups are like,
it was worse than the boyfriend breakup.
I was gonna say they're worse. Yeah.
It was worse. So then that kind of like, because all of that was falling apart, I was like, okay.
Time to
that
create.
kind of like kicked it into overdrive, and I wanted to launch even more. And I had one friend, and I started telling people about it, like definitely on set. They're like, because I was using the pigments more and more on set. So my friends would just be like, and the crew would just be like, when are you gonna make it a thing? So then I was like, okay, well, maybe I should just make it a thing.
Yes.
So that's kind of when I started like really putting the thought behind launching. And then I launched in December. But the actual pigments and the colors, those are just like colors that I like to play with. Like, those things kind of like just came naturally.
Yeah.
Like the fairytale aesthetic was just something that I was building with just like myself and my personal style. And then it just all like tied into my brand, like simultaneously. And then I look back, I'm like, that makes sense.
Yes. You're like, oh wait, I actually like, that's why I see the connection.
That's why. Yeah. It's very like, it's definitely like how I see the world.
Yeah. So how did you go about getting, your ingredients? How did you?
Ooh, so this is a beautiful story. So the ingredients portion of it is one of my favorite like parts of the story to tell, because at first I was just using whatever, just like the basic ingredients. I wasn't really like making anything for it. I was just mixing the actual pigment and making different colors. Mm-hmm. So that was like the first step that I was doing, which is very similar to makeup, like, because I'm constantly, especially in editorial and with the kit that I started with as an artist, I had to, because I didn't have everything that I needed, I used a lot of things for different things. Mm-hmm. So I would learn, I know how to mix and know how to like make this pencil something else and use it in a different way. And like, just kind of like, so I knew how to do that. So I started mixing the actual colors first. Mm-hmm. And then in my career, I started learning more about clean skincare. So I started working with this clean brand, and I was one of their brand ambassadors. This is like the brand ambassador stage of my career. So many different jobs. Oh my God. I've been working a lot.
Yes, you have, girl.
But yeah, so when I was working as a brand ambassador for 2 clean brands, that kind of really opened my eyes to the clean beauty market and the industry. And unfortunately, it's not really marketed to Black people.
It's not
really marketed, because I'm like, nobody knows about this. Like the clean beauty has been around for a really long time. Like, this is not new. Yeah. Clean beauty is something that's been around for a really long time, just not marketed to our community. And we're just not told about it. And, of course, because of the prices as well, there's many factors. But yeah, I was so surprised like that it had been around for so long. And like the concept of, making sure your ingredients are skincare based and good for you, and making sure you're not damaging your skin with your products, and looking and paying attention to ingredients. So working with those 2 brands kind of really like opened my eyes to like the clean beauty industry. And it was just like a kid.
Wait, it broke up just a little bit. Can you say that again?
Oh, I said it was like being a kid in a candy store. I just loved it. Like, I was just like around all of these different brands and different products that were amazing. And like the ingredients were things that you knew, and like things being made out of, because clean is an umbrella term. So there's still synthetics in the clean market. Like there's still like chemicals and different things like that. So it depends on like which approach. There's like the holistic approach where there's herbs and, but there's also the safe chemical approach as well.
And Tai Ceme is where on that spectrum?
More of the holistic approach. Yeah, absolutely.
So, without giving away a recipe, what are some of the key ingredients that you love to tell people about?
So we're very, part of our mission is to be very like transparent about our ingredients, because you should know what's going in and on your skin. Yeah. So right now we're using a lot of grapeseed oil, jojoba oil, rosemary extract. All the good stuff. Those are like the key ingredients. But for our next product that I'm hoping to be launching next year, I do want to kind of like switch up the oils. But our known oils are jojoba oil, grapeseed oil, rosemary extract, and we use mica. We use all types of stuff. But
what made you choose? Good stuff. That is all the good stuff. What made you choose some of those oils in particular? Because I didn't know that. I mean, I knew that generally, like, there's a difference between like clean makeup and maybe some makeup that's not so clean. But yeah, until you said it just now, I didn't know that some makeup can actually damage your skin.
Oh, absolutely. Most makeup, because there's also, the skin is a very like, there's so many different skin types, there's so many different things that can affect your skin. So not only are those products damaging, they're not actually creating like a barrier for your skin at all. They're not protecting.
I see.
So you know what I mean? Like they're also not protecting you in any way. So clean beauty is really about finding something that protects your skin as well as is good for your skin. So skincare, skincare plays a lot to like the makeup brands in the clean community, which is what I really liked.
Yeah. I love that was one of my favorite features about your brand, especially when buying it, because I was like, well, it's not only pretty, like, you know,
Yeah.
I almost want to rub it on my whole face. Like I almost want to just like use it as a moisturizer.
You can. No, you can. I use Messiah as a in my like moisturizer all the time. And I just have like a golden glow. Yes.
Girl.
It's very versatile. Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
You can put in your moisturizer, you can put in your face oil. Yes, you can. It's
I was like,
clean. That's
I gotta let this
part about it.
I had to get that thing to stretch. I was like, nah, I gotta stretch this my jar. I was like, no, this is important. So, but okay, that's great to know. Like, I didn't know I could just put it all over. I mean, I guess
you can put it all over your face.
Yes, that's awesome. So, I was going to ask you, so you're making the products, are you hiring on people now that are helping you create everything? Do you create everything from home? Like, what's your general process?
I still manufacture everything in-house. It's still just me. I do have my assistant who helps me with like packaging and different things like that. So she's like a godsend. Oh my goodness. Like without her, I would just drop. But as for actually making and manufacturing the product, I am still making the pigments. I am trying to transition into, you know, I found like a way to kind of simplify my methods. So, and it's more teachable. So I am trying to transition into like something where I can like teach others how to do it. It was just tough in the beginning because I'm like, it's something I'm still perfecting. And I'm also a perfectionist. I'm also just psycho. And I'm like, I can't give you the Krabby Patty formula.
But no, like you have to be. It's clear that you're a perfectionist, but I feel like and perfectionism is one thing, but like striving for excellence is another.
Yes. I just want things to be like
a certain
perfect.
way.
And I also just feel like because of the brands that I use and the fact that I'm already in the industry as an artist, I have to deliver excellence. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it can't not match my work is how I see it. So I'm constantly like making sure it's like just as, you know what I mean?
And it is. Good. I mean, when you look at your brand, I mean, I wouldn't think it's made in-house unnecessarily, which is not a bad thing. It's just not.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean?
Like, to people.
Huh?
These companies be emailing me and they're like, yeah, like connect us with your operations team. I'm like, it's me.
I'm the operations. I'm the CEO.
They're like, connect us with it's still me, sis. It's me.
It circles back to the same email address every time.
It's just me.
I love that.
Which is a great compliment because I'm like, I'm happy that you guys think I'm doing the work of 25, which I am.
Oh, it looks like it.
But I'm hoping with these grants, baby, I can hire a team. Yes. I want to hire a team so bad. I'm ready to transition out of the one woman show.
Oh,
it's not good for the psyche.
It's not good for anything. I
literally started working with this I Fund Women of Color, and they shout out to them. But I Fund Women of Color because they like help small businesses like get grants and crowdfund and different things like that. And they had sent to me like a little chart on just like funding and like breaking down the different types of funding and how you can fund your business. And it was funny because the first one was like self-funding, using your own money, and was like, this is good for no one. Never do this. You will go broke. It was like, you will go broke. Do not try to. So I'm like, dang.
Like they already telling you out the gate, this is not for you.
Like out the gate, like stop this whole emptying your savings account because the business is a never ending cash cow is what I'm learning.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting funding from outside sources, like when you have like that, like a business like that, you're going to get drained in 2 seconds.
So, so you said it was I Fund Women of Color. That's what it was, right?
Yes.
And so yes, shout out to them.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. So are they, is it a quick like insert? Do they actually give you like one-on-one mentorship, or are they just kind of send you resources? How's that work?
They do. So there's like different plans that you can get. And I applied to their overall grant program, which allows you to get access to these other grants and to the online coaching trainings and stuff that they do. And that they gave me like a free like membership for a year because I got into like the initial grant, like the universal grant, they call it.
Oh, that's so awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, but you can also, thank you. Oh my God, I was so happy. I was like, oh, thank you.
Yes.
Some good news. but you can also, but I saw once I started like getting into like the website and got like access, I saw that there's other plans that like cost money, which is kind of, it's usually for me, I'm like kind of productive for small businesses who don't have a lot, like, you know, I don't really like to pay to apply to grants because I'm like, huh?
Well, I'm asking for the grant because I don't have no money.
Right. I ain't got no money. That's why I'm getting a grant, babe.
That's why it's kind of hard for me to, okay. That's amazing though. You know, so let's get into, you know, so you're operating, you know, right now I've had in-house.
Sorry, I talk so much. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. That's what we're here for. Like, this is a conversation and I want people to, you know, be learning from you. So please overshare.
Okay, great.
Yes, you're doing like, you're not even oversharing, but overshare. Like you.
Okay, great.
we want this to be fruitful for anyone listening. Yes. And I'm learning sitting here listening to you too. So, and it's encouraging.
Okay, great.
So please, you're fine. You know, I want to make sure we talk about everything we want to talk about for sure. So, you know, with Tai Light, like I've noticed that you've been featured in Glamour and what else?
Yes.
Girl?
Vogue.
Go ahead. Just go ahead. I'm gonna give you like a 2-second shameless plug. Go. Like just
Birdie. What else? House of Cocoa. And there's one more, House of Interiors, I think. Yeah. And Birdie. I'm partners with Bulletin, and I have a partnership with 13 Lune.
Amazing. So how did those opportunities come about?
So you know, during the pandemic and all the things that were happening with Black Lives Matter, a lot of companies were like trying to support Black-owned businesses. Like a lot of grants came out during that time. Just a lot of, whether they were fake attempts or real attempps.
Either way, it was money.
Shade. Either way, it was money and it was help. So I was like, my reparations. I know you lying, but it's fine.
I'll take it.
I'll take it because y'all care about this. But so yeah, during that time, a lot of these like major companies were looking for Black owned businesses to support or to feature or to market to pitch to. And a lot of them found me, like Vogue, Glamour, they found me.
Wow, girl.
I thought it was spam.
I thought it was spam.
I was like, oh, this is spam.
That's amazing, girl.
Yeah. So that I think, so I know that was a very trying time, but for small businesses, especially for small Black women-owned businesses, like we got a lot of press during that time. So that was like a good thing that happened during a really horrible year.
Golly.
But yeah.
It was a couple years.
I'm like, all years. That was 1 year?
Every time I talk about 2020, I'm like, wait, what year was that? 2020. Like,
I'm like, but also, so then what's great about getting those like big features is once you have those features, now it comes pouring in, like, you know, everyone wanted to, and I started realizing like, oh, actually you don't have to be featured in all of these, and they charge you have to pay. So yeah, you definitely have to pay for like major features. Absolutely. So it's a business. That's also another business, but which you think at first I'm like, oh my God, what a scam. But actually that gives your brand so much more legitimacy and that brings more opportunities. And now more people are inclined to take you seriously because you have those things.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The fact that you can put, you know, the Glamour logo on your website or your Vogue.
Absolutely.
And like, I was like, oh wait, this is for real. But I mean, girl, honestly, your lashes and your pigments speak for themselves.
My lashes.
You have to see these lashes. Like when did you incorporate the lashes into the brand?
So the lashes are my new babies. Those were an idea on set, literally.
Girl.
So yes, so those were an idea. Because I told you I work very like free form, you know, and I think I had like a first look planned. No, I don't think I had the look planned at all. I don't think I really had a plan for that look, but literally on set, I was just like, okay, like let's put these flowers on the lashes,
girl. And I saw you have. That's so. I love it because I mean,
And
you
you've
have
seen that
strawberry.
photo. You've seen that photo when she's wearing the blue dress and the orange dress, and we're in the
Yes.
library in the Bronx. Mark's got
Yes.
it.
Yes.
You've seen it. That's the first lash ever.
Oh,
Yes.
girl, that shoot is beautiful. You know what? I actually was on the Creative Collective NYC Instagram yesterday, and that shoot was featured on there.
That shoot has been everywhere.
That shoot has, I mean,
with Faye,
like wildfire.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Oh, yes. What was the name of the model again?
I think Faye. I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
And the photographer was Mark.
Or Fa, or is it Fa? I'm sorry. I'm butchering your name, babe.
But girl, you're gorgeous. Shout out to you. Okay, you're gorgeous.
You're beautiful, baby. You're beautiful.
And the photographer was Mark, right?
Yes, yeah. But that shoot was the first ever Dream Lash. And then that was last year. That was during COVID. Yeah.
Really? Girl,
I'm pretty sure, or was it right before COVID? It was either during COVID. I'm trying to remember if we were wearing masks.
See, that's how you.
It was either before COVID or like right before. It was in 2020. Oh, it wasn't 2020, but it was right before COVID.
Gotcha.
So in like January, February, before COVID hit. So that was the first ever, and then I kind of just revisited the idea maybe last spring. And kind of developed it even more, and was like, okay, instead of just flowers, like I wanted to do treats. I wanted to do other things on there.
My favorite, honestly, I don't know which one to choose from, but I think like I love this. You have strawberry banana.
The strawberry banana sends me. Oh my gosh,
girl! I just want to know how in the world do you secure little baby bananas and strawberries on lashes, and like how do you even find these things? Like, I mean, don't give away your recipe again. I'm just
give away my Krabby Patty formula, but they're all found at Fairy HQ at Fairy headquarters.
It's at Fairy headquarters. I love it. That is
all the ingredients are at Fairy headquarters.
I love it. I love that. That is, but this is the cutest, most brilliant thing ever. I saw you have one with avocados. So
yes, avocado toast has little avocados on it. Yes.
Oh my God, that's called avocado toast. I was just so enamored by your straight up just. First of all, I'm going to put these strawberries and these bananas on these lashes, and you're going to like it. Yeah. I'm looking at this. I don't even wear lashes, but I want.
But you want a pair. I'm like, how can you not want a pair?
I'm just going to put them on, and I don't even know. I'm just going to go to Target.
Oh my God, these are the strawberry banana ones.
Let's see. Oh my God, y'all. I'm going to put this clip up on YouTube. We angle it down a little more.
I got my nails done.
It's okay. We can't even see your nails, girl. Look at that. And then angle it up a little bit so we can see a little bit better. Yes. Oh, yes. Yep, I just want people to get some angles here. That is just the most adorable thing ever. And look at that packaging. So come on, packaging. Come on, packaging. Yes. I love them. I love them. I just love that.
Them so much.
That it's just so brilliant. And
thank you so much.
And you stand out. I mean, among any beauty brand, and I don't see too many beauty brands who are actually investing real artistry into what they're doing.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to make people comfortable with being their own artists. The goal is for everything to also be you can personalize it, because you don't have to buy one of the presets. You can make your own. You can make your own lash. You can make your own lash with your own color theme, your own flowers, and your own treats on it. I want people to kind of learn how to, using it as self-expression. It's also self-care. It's just a form of loving on yourself. It's supposed to be fun, because makeup has turned into something that's so this is to cover up. Either it's to cover up or change, or it's to fit this the whatever the look is at the moment. You know what I mean? Whatever look is supposedly popping at the moment, you're supposed to buy everything to achieve that look, even if it don't match your face or your skin color. You supposed to be. I'm that's
not just how brows are right now. Exactly. You just need to accept it, and your brows need to be like this.
Your brows ain't like that, babe.
Right. And I know with me, I'm just kind of I've had the same makeup routine, I kid you not, since 12th grade.
I was just about to say, you're still wearing the gold eyeshadow.
Yes, girl, my gold eyeshadow and my berry lips. It just
her berry lips.
It just works.
Her whole life.
It's just my life. Okay, look, I'm like, that's why when I did
love
this video, I was like, I have to hire Tai, because I need somebody who can do something other than
gold eyeshadow. God, those pictures were so beautiful.
Thank you.
That
Thank
video was
you.
beautiful.
Yes, I love everything about
that was a good day.
And working with you too. I would say, like, as being a client of yours was just so refreshing. I mean, first of all, you were, the minute I sat down, your first question was like, do you have dry skin? Do you have oily skin? Like, you were paying attention to my actual, like, my skin care needs before you even applied a thing. And I just felt so taken care of. I didn't feel like, because it's scary, sitting in a makeup artist chair and you don't know what you're going to look like.
It's
an intimate process. And someone's like up in your breathing space and, tapping on your face for 30 minutes and you're just kind of like, you don't know what you look like.
And you got to just trust it. It's a really, I tell people all the time, like, it's a very intimate thing. And I have like a lot of different conversations. I always have like a special bond because I'm like, we had this moment. It's okay.
Yes. What I need from you is for you to do some, and maybe we can work on a collaboration or something like that. Ooh. But I need some makeup tutorials from Tai Light Beauty.
I know.
That would just be gold. I mean, I know girl time. I'm aware of all the things, but I feel like we should talk about that off podcast, off camera.
Yes. I know.
Figure out, because I would love to see, like, this is how you apply this if you want to express yourself, because Jessica needs it. I'm 30 years old.
Well, I have some videos on the page on the Tai Light Instagram.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yes, you do.
But I don't have enough. I need to make it a thing. I know.
I'm asking selfishly. Oh, girl. Like, see, there I can help you.
I need to figure out how to,
there I can help you. But as you see, I cannot switch up makeup to save my life, but I can help you with everything else.
Okay.
And when it comes to, from an entrepreneur perspective, funding your business, and you talked about applying for grants, how with, you don't have to divulge so much, about your personal life, but just let's give an encouraging word to anyone who's a new entrepreneur, operating really as a one woman, one man show.
I would definitely say seek mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
And try everything once. Mm-hmm. That's definitely like the phase I'm in. I'm trying everything like once because there's so many different routes that you can take your business. There's so many different ways, depending on the business that you're in. I would just try everything, seek mentorship, and start making funding a priority since the beginning. Like, don't even skip the whole buy your bootstraps phase, like skip that whole phase and just get funding, market research, like do it the right way. When it comes to business, like when it comes to the arts, I'm always like, be free and just go with the wind. But when it comes to business, like that's something you want to do. Like you want to get the funding first.
Yeah.
You'll save yourself a lot of,
to really create freely.
Exactly. So, but when you're in the idea stages, there's funding and grants for idea stages as well. Like, definitely for Black businesses, which is definitely a little harder for us to do, is finding investors. So that's something too that I'm still doing, like grants, like that's like my main focus, but I definitely want to get to a point where I'm able to pitch some investors as well. And I'll let y'all know how that goes.
Yes, girl, it's gonna go just fine. Like I'm in the phase 2 at the studio, like we're in the market research phase, and it's like, our goal, I just, bring on some interns, like, hey, like our goal is to get this market research done, and let's get a pitch deck and let's go pitch. Like that's the route we're taking.
Definitely. Absolutely.
When it comes to grants, I know it's not the same process as like, building a pitch deck and, pitching to say like VCs, venture capitalists or whomever else. But, and then there's rounds of funding with that kind of thing. But when it comes to grant applications, these are just your kind of average application, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it really is. I've only had maybe 1 or 2 grants have me like attach my pitch deck, which was nice because I got to like make a really good one.
Yeah.
But most of them are pretty like basic in regards to like the questions that they're asking. They're just asking you about your business, and you're going to get so used to answering these types of questions. They're going to be second nature. I do recommend making a document. Like I have like a grant application document with like some of the answers, because the questions are very similar, and sometimes you could just like copy paste. It's the same questions.
Smart.
So definitely make like a grant application template and update it. And as you keep writing it too, you'll get better at writing it. So that's when I'll just go and I'll just like change it and update it and add different questions if I don't have it on there, because it's going to be something you're applying for constantly. I definitely recommend making a pitch deck as well, because some of them will ask you for that. And just, it's just something I have to do. Like, it's a part of my weekly task is to search the web for grants. It's just a part of my business model, I guess.
Yeah, that's smart. I love the fact that that's a part of, and that's such a great takeaway, especially for new entrepreneurs. It's like a part of your daily operations is seeking out funding. That's a part of
and how that doesn't mean you stop. You shouldn't, doesn't mean you can't do anything. You can still, progress your business in other ways, but you should constantly be like seeking funding.
I love that. That's a word for me too. Like I'm really, really fresh. I'm like just over 30 days in, really like 45 days in at this point. By the time this episode will air, it'll be a couple of months, like 2 months. But it's
2 months.
Right.
I was like, doesn't it air next month?
Right. It feels like it. It feels like it'll be a whole like 6 years within 30 days.
It might be. Hey.
But hey, like I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Where you're going. Thank you for coming onto the podcast. Before we wrap up, we have a little round of our Style Well, Live Well, Be Brave. And I think you froze. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I don't know why you froze. I can still hear you.
Oh, no.
Oh, you're back.
You're frozen. You're back. Okay.
Okay. Devil will not get us today. We can.
Yes.
All right. Regrouping.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, though, I love to kind of have my round of Style Well, Live Well, Be Brave.
Yes.
So when it comes to styling well, what is one piece in your closet that you just can't live without?
It changes on a constant basis, but I would say right now, even though I'm like kind of shying away from winter clothes, is definitely, I have like this brown shirt-length fur brown coat, and it's just chef's kiss. It's just elegant. It's so beautiful. I love that coat.
Is it a particular brand?
It's a shirt-length.
Or the brand, like where you got it, like who it is?
I thrifted it. I don't remember the brand.
Oh, well, look, thrifting is like, that's where it's at. Cause like that's where you can really get some of those elegant pieces that are so unique.
Yeah. I don't remember. I thrifted it, but everything that I have that's like really like one of my top pieces are thrifted. I want to get into like buying more, just like really custom designer pieces, but I feel like I need to like sit and plan that out, because I want to do a whole different wardrobe change, like a whole, you know what I mean? And like change into my designer, grown and sexy wear.
Yes. I'm still trying to get grown and sexy, and it hasn't quite happened yet, but we're working on it.
I'm screaming. I feel like I like fall in and out of it all the time. Like sometimes I want to be grown and sexy. Sometimes I don't. Like, I don't know. It depends on my mood. It changes daily.
I'm with you. So living well, let's talk about that. What is a routine that you have, or a regimen? It can be for skincare. It can be something for your spirit, or both. But what's something that you do daily or often that keeps you living well?
Okay, so I take a candlelit shower every day. Every day. Oh
my gosh.
And that's when I like pray, and that's when I get like, every day.
Oh, I love that. Is that usually like a morning shower for you?
In the morning, every morning.
I love that.
It's always good.
So simple, but so powerful.
Just get the candle holders and the candlesticks, make it really, I'm really into interior design as well. So I make it really, it's a whole scene.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. So I love that, because I do love myself a good candlelit shower myself.
Okay.
It is cleansing. And then lastly, with being brave, what is something that you are doing or have previously done or plan to do that is requiring you to overcome some fear and put your faith in place of that fear?
I think with this new year coming in, I'm really trying to focusing on traveling more and not being in New York City. So I think that's my be brave moment, is actually like going out there, learning how to run my business on a more travel-based business, being based somewhere else. Like I want to be based in California. And I think that's and it's scary, of course, because you don't know what you're doing, where you're going, like, you know, but I think that's my like be brave moment, what I'm focusing on in my journey right now.
I love that. I love that. Well, again, thank you for sharing all this wisdom and just your heart, you know, being willing to open up and talk about the struggles of being an entrepreneur, or being a New Yorker even. And the early days of getting your career started as a makeup artist. You guys have to check out Tai's work and her beauty brand. Where can people find you and buy your products?
So my personal Instagram is mytai, and that's MHAII_THAII, and there you can see all of my work, and the link to my my portfolio is taiceme.com, and for Tai Light is just tai-light.com and for the website, and the Instagram is @tai.light.
Love it. Thank you, girl. Thank you. You are shining this radiance, highlights, beauty all over the place.
Check out the dream lashes.
Yes, check out the dream lashes. Get you some strawberry and banana lashes, or the avocado toast lashes. Especially if you're an editorial makeup artist, make sure you grab her product.
I do want to eventually like make kits for makeup artists.
Oh, that would be so dope. Yes,
that's coming.
It's coming. All right. Thank you so much, Tai.